Super Eagles head coach and of course bronze medal winner talking about Eric Chelle justifies his $130,000 monthly salary, and he said it will cover like 6 people, his backroom staffs and of course his personal assistant. Talking about Eric Chelle. And of course, in the MPFL, Remo Stars hired the man called Usman Abdallah as the new technical advisor. And it is not written anywhere that Daniel Ogumadede has been fired. So what's going on in Ikene? And in Europe, Arsenal will definitely face Chelsea Football Club this weekend. On that note, I say welcome to Sport Talk on Enterprise TV, where sport news from the four corners of the world are delivered at its best. If you are joining for the first time, please do well to follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. My name is John Olasukomi. Join me and let's ride together. And of course, joining me virtually today is Dami Wealth. Dami Wealth, welcome to Sport Talk.
Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're listening from or watching us from, actually. It's a nice one. I've already listened to all of the stories that you've mentioned and so much more, and I can't wait to chip in on it because they are very, very big and exciting ones.
Unfortunately, I didn't say anything about Manchester United, but of course, you'll be in action this weekend. All right, well, you know how we do it. We always start with local football. We'll be starting with the Super Eagles. Super Eagles head coach Eric Chelle has broken his silence on the details surrounding his contract negotiations with the Nigerian Football Federation, insisting that his requests are standard and aimed at ensuring proper working conditions. 130,000. The man said it is not in euros, it is $130,000. Dami Wealth, and he said this money will cover for 6 people. He himself, his backroom staff, they're like 5, his personal assistants, and he said something. He said, whenever I want to travel, they have to pay for my flight ticket and of course my family, and the rest also, they are also requesting for the same thing. Dami Wealth, let's do justice to this $130,000 monthly and of course the 19 other conditions. What are your thoughts? Justified or too much?
Well, I think it's justified. If you want to win big, you have to spend big. Nigeria is a big country. We call ourselves the giant of Africa. So
we used to be, not anymore. Dami Wealth, we used to be.
It doesn't matter. Matter when it comes to we still call ourselves the giant of Africa. That's the
giant of Africa. We just 3 African Cup of Nations. Giant of Africa.
Bro, it does not matter. The giant of Africa is not just on the Super Eagles. It's about every other thing. Both the female national team, both the basketball, both the other sports, both even outside sports. Nigeria is big like that. Nigeria is the biggest black nation in the world. Nigeria is the richest black nation in the world when it comes to humans. When it comes to the country itself, we are facing many challenges, but Nigeria is still the biggest when it comes to that. On the football pitch, when it comes to the male national team, we might not be the giants of Africa, but we still have what it takes. So I want to, if you, like I said earlier, if you want to win big, you have to spend big. Sometimes we need to go all out and get the best of the best. And for now, the best of the best that we have is Eric Chelle. If he doesn't perform, then you can sack him. But if this is what he wants, and he said it's not just going to be his own salary, it's going to be for his backroom staff. Come on, I think it's more than enough. If they will share 6 of them plus him, making 7. 7 divided by 130. I'm not sure it will be up to maybe 40K.
Come on. Let's just do the math. Let's say his personal assistant will be going on with $10,000 to $12,000 every month, and of course his backroom staff maybe 15,000. They are like 5. That's like 75,000.
His assistant to be earning more than the backroom staff now. His assistant to be probably earning maybe 20.
Okay.
Maybe he might take let's say 30. His assistant takes maybe 20. Then the others will share the 50K. You understand? So I don't think it's too much for him. I think he's a manager that he is better than what we have right here locally as it stands. You know, the best that we have locally here, apart from what's his name, Sunday Olise, that we have tried before, that it
Okay.
didn't work because of one or two things. Because Sunday Olise seems to be the manager with the best CV in Nigeria here, looking at his antecedent outside of Nigeria. You know, Finidi George right now has been tried and it didn't work. The other person that I used to like that we should try then was Emmanuel Amunike, but
Emmanuel
Emmanuel
Amunike.
Amunike has really gone cold. He has gone cold, especially when he went to take that Heartland job. That Heartland job really spoils his CV. He got relegated with Heartland, and I'm not even going to blame him because it's a Nigerian job. You getting relegated or winning the league with a Nigerian team doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean jack. You know, because there are so many things that involve winning the league or getting relegated in Nigeria here. You have to be able to play the politics as well. So that's that, by the way. Anyways, I think Eric Shaw deserves the amount that he's calling. They should give it to him, and also the traveling allowance. These are the standards. You know, if you want to go for an European coach right now, a known one, not the likes of Las Lackerback or the likes of some funny names that we used to call back then. Even Las Lackerback was a pretty known name back in where we got him in 2010. We have to spend the money, so I don't think he's asking for too much. Let us just give him that, the traveling allowance, the cars. Come on, we
I
have
don't
it.
think the SUV should be a problem. I don't think getting him a good apartment should be these things are just normal thing to request for. And I
John,
don't. Okay.
this SUV that you just mentioned now, the senators and the House of Reps members, they change it every year. You know, they give it to them like it's nothing. You know, so if you can be giving over 130 senators, or is it, how many senators do we have, and over 200 House of Reps members SUV every year, how much is the one you're going to give to Eric Shell? Come on, we should
And
do
of
that.
course, with this his condition, don't you think he just exposed the NFF by saying that they should not interfere in times of team selection? He is the manager, not a coach. Exactly what Ruben Amorim did that he got fired at Manchester United.
Of course, I mean that's how it should be. They should not interfere. They should never interfere in his team selection. It doesn't concern them. You know, at the end of the
And
day,
between you and I, you think it will work? Damn well.
it will. It should work. It should work. I don't know if it will work, but it should work in the sense that you've appointed him. You're paying him
Okay.
big. So why are you laying your thoughts on the money on the players that you should select? Why are you playing politics with that? Let him select whoever he wants to select and go for whoever he wants to go for. If it doesn't work, then at the end of the day, you'll be the one that will bear the brunt, not you, the technical advisor or the NFF chairman or whatever. You are not the one that will bear the brunt. He's the one that's going to bear the brunt. So let him go for the manager that he wants. Sorry, for the players that he wants, and don't interfere at all. It's a poor thing to do, and it doesn't make sense at all. He is a manager, not just a coach. He's coming with his backroom staff, and he knows what he wants at the end of the day.
All right. According to Jamie Wells, he said the $130,000 is justified. For me too, I feel that it is definitely justified. By the time you pay like 5 backroom staffs, and of course your personal assistant is still there, there's no money. And some people said Nigerian coach is any $135,000 or something. The $135,000 is just for himself alone. He's collecting the whole money in his own pocket. They are also paying the backroom staff some amount of money. All right, let's see how it goes. Let's see whether NFF will definitely work with Eric Chelle with his condition and of course the monthly salary. Away from the Super Eagles saga, let's move straight to the MPFL. The management of the Nigerian Premier Football League side, Remo Stars, has confirmed the appointment of Usman Abdallah as the club technical advisor. It is only in Nigeria that there will be any technical advisor, you'll be any coach. And of course, Dami Wells, what's the story? It is not written anywhere that Daniel Ogunmede has been fired, that he has been sacked. And of course, they just hired Usman Abdallah, and of course, he has started work immediately. They are sitting 19 on the log table. Do you see them escaping? Is this? Do you think Usman will definitely take Remo Stars out of relegation zone? For me, I feel Remo Stars will be playing the NLL next season. All right, Dami, well, back to you. Your thoughts on Usman and, of course, Daniel Ogunmadede?
Well, so far so good. We've not really heard what is going to happen to Daniel Ogunmadede. If you remember early this season, I think something like this also happened when they said they sacked Daniel Ogunmadede according to reports, but that wasn't true. You know, he was just told to go and get some coaching certificates and training. He's back, and since he got back, they've been losing even more. So and there's been the issue of also stadium violence and ban and stuff like that. So they've not really been settled this season. Getting Abdallah is he has the CV in terms of training, in terms of because he has a UEFA coaching license. With Montpellier in France, and also he has the La Liga coaching license as well. So he's actually a top manager in that respect. And in the current MPFL teams, he has also managed Eyimba in the past. So he has experience, and I remember then he was able to galvanize Eyimba to a good run right there in the MPFL. So I think,
of course, even in the CAF Champions League.
So I think it might just be a coach that might rescue Remo Stars, because it's not done and dusted. They still have about 12 to 14 games to the end of the season, and it's not over until it is over. So anything can still happen. So
do you know my challenge with Remo Stars? Right now they are 19 on the log table, and of course, you know how it goes in the MPFL. 4 teams has to relegate in the MPFL, and Kano Pillars are number 16 on the log table, and they are leading Remo Stars by 5 points. You know how big 5 points is in the MPFL. You know how big 5 points is in the MPFL. But let's see how it goes. Let's go straight to the fixtures for this weekend in the MPFL. This weekend we'll be seeing Academy Warriors versus Abia Warriors, Barra versus Plateau United, Niger Tornadoes will host Warri Wolves, Remo Stars versus Katsina United, Enugu Rangers versus Nasarawa United, Shooting Stars, another team that is doing wonderfully well in the league. Talking about 3SC, Shooting Stars versus Kano Pillars, Kwara United versus Wiki Tourists, Bendel Shoulders will host Ikorodu City. Ikorodu are now second on the log table. Bayelsa will be hosting Rivers United. Rivers are back to the summit. And of course, Eyimba versus Kun Khalifat. Away from MPFL, let's move straight to Europe. We'll be starting with the English Premier League leaders, Champions League leaders. Carabao Cup finalists, 5th round in the FA Cup. Arsenal are just everywhere. They face a title test from London rivals on Sunday, March 1st, 2026. And Manchester City can keep the pressure on Arsenal with a win at Leeds, while troubled Tottenham cannot afford another damaging defeat. Let's talk about this London derby, Arsenal versus Chelsea. Damn you out.
That's going to be a big game.
As an anti-Chelsea fan, it's okay. I know you don't like Chelsea, but anyways, let's discuss Arsenal Chelsea.
Of course, Chelsea has to. They have to draw points. Either a draw. For me, a draw. I think a draw will be okay. A draw will be okay, but I still feel Arsenal are going to win the league. So I think I want to see Arsenal winning the game. That's me talking sentimentally, but of course, Chelsea have to either lose or draw that game, no matter what they do. But Chelsea will stand at the risk of losing their top, their 5th position if they fail to get 3 points in that game. Because there's a Liverpool just sitting, on the same point with them, and they are 6th. So it's not going to be an easy one. But if you look at the game very well, you know that it is a do or die win for Arsenal. Arsenal can afford to actually lose this. There's a funny stat that I have.
Okay.
You know that the last time that Chelsea actually scored against Arsenal was through Noni Madueke, who is now an Arsenal fan, Arsenal player. Yeah, and that was
that should be at the Emirates.
at the Emirates. You understand? So that was, it's been a long time. Chelsea don't really find joy when they are playing against Arsenal. I don't know. I don't know why. It's a derby, but you, let's even be factual.
First leg ended 1-1. Even with Chelsea with one man down, they still managed to draw that one against Arsenal at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, it still doesn't matter. You understand? I mean, Chelsea always Chelsea have the talent, they have the players, but at the Emirates they always struggle. You understand? They always
you
struggle.
said what? Chelsea have the what?
I say Chelsea have, of course, they have some good players.
The talent, okay, it's okay.
They have the talent. I mean, if you talk about
Pedro,
Caicedo,
you have Pedro, Liam Delap,
Caicedo, Cole Palmer, you mentioned Enzo Fernandez. You
Estevao.
mentioned their goalkeeper has been doing better, than 2 seasons ago. You want to talk about even Joao Pedro, who seems not, he can't stop scoring. Joao Pedro has been scoring goals back to back now.
The same Joao Pedro that we all know. The same Joao Pedro that you and I know.
Joao Pedro has been. Have you been watching? Have you actually been checking his stats?
I've been watching Benjamin Sesko. I've been watching Benjamin Sesko.
I understand, but go and check Joao Pedro seriously, because I have him on my FPL. That's Fantasy Premier League, and I tell you, since I bought Joao Pedro into my Fantasy Premier League, he has not failed to either score or assist in about 5 games back to back right now. And he's been doing so well for Chelsea. The last game that they even drew 1-1, he was the one who scored for them on the 3rd minute. So he has really been there and doing that for them. He's on form, and that is a player that Arsenal really need to watch out for. For Arsenal, they need to continue what they did against Tottenham Hotspur. They need to be direct. They need to, face that game with all alacrity, because they cannot afford to drop points. If Arsenal loses against Chelsea and Man City wins their outstanding games and the game at the weekend, then, City are going to go tops of the Premier League with 1 point ahead of Arsenal. So Arsenal cannot afford to actually lose against Chelsea on Sunday. And tactically, I feel that, Bukayo Saka is back for Arsenal. That's a plus. I want to see if Odegaard will be starting, or he's going to still go with Eberechi. Arteta seems not to really like Eberechi compared to Odegaard. I think he prefers someone
Damn well, this might sound crazy, but do you believe or do you think that Arsenal performs better without Saka and Odegaard?
This season they've been off and on, both players, Saka and Odegaard, injuries and everything. So there's a possibility of that. I'm not gonna, be too surprised about that. But they are still some of their best players, two of their best players. So Odegaard, currently, Saka is a player that even if he goes injured and he comes back, you should expect something from him. He almost always delivers. Do you understand? And I won't put the fact that maybe when he plays this season, Arsenal drop points, on him, because he's not the only one, that has been causing that damage. It's the whole team. It's the whole team that haven't really been, showing up in games, important games that they need to actually get a victory from. For Odegaard for me, I think he romances the ball too much. See, as a number 10, you don't need to over dramatize on the ball. When you get the ball, you should be looking for spaces and opportunities, of which he has the ability to, but he just needs to change his way of, his style of play. When he gets the ball, he wants to turn, he wants to move, he wants to do some body movement before he passes, and that kills the game. You understand? So I think for me, Odegaard really needs to step up, but I don't think he's going to be starting, because it will be foolhardy from Arteta to bench a player that gave you 2 goals in the last game and looks to be probably motivated to play against Chelsea, and you bench him. Chelsea are not going to give you the room in that midfield. When you have Moses Caicedo, you have Enzo Fernandez, and sometimes even the Chelsea manager has been experimenting with the midfield. Why is he playing Caicedo and Andre Santos and then playing Enzo Fernandez as the number 10? Why has he been doing that? That also has been killing the team. I know Andre Santos can be a bit direct. He can, be quite pacey and young, but you don't need him. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez in that midfield, their partnership has been very good. And play Kopama in that number 10 position. So I think that also has been the problem of Chelsea, playing Andre Santos and Caicedo, then Enzo Fernandez in number 10. Enzo Fernandez is not in number 10. Yes, he can play that role, but he's not really a number 10 right now. So I would. So if he plays Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez in that double pivot and plays Kopama up front, it is going to be a problem for Arsenal. So they will need someone like Ibrahim who gets the ball and just wants to run at defenders and pass. That, I think, will be, a plus for them. And, I also want to see Declan Rice, because I saw a report this week that someone is in one of these big TV, I think it was Sky Sports or something, calling for asking if Declan Rice can be nominated or should be nominated for the Ballon d'Or, and I'm like, that's too much. Declan Rice this season has not really been performing, but we know how good he can be. He's also one of the direct players that you have at the Arsenal team. He seems to be, not really in form of recent, but if he can get on his A game against Chelsea and, drive the ball the way we know it, shoots and get to the box, I think Arsenal have it, for themselves to take, but it's going to be a very, very tough game.
All right, it's a must-win game for Arsenal if they really want to win the league
both of them, actually.
After 2 decades. Yeah. All right, it is what it is. Let's take a look at other fixtures. Wolves versus Aston Villa. Bournemouth, we host Sunderland. Liverpool versus West Ham. We expect Liverpool to take this one at home. West Ham has been on and off. Newcastle United versus Everton. Burnley versus Brentford. Leeds, we host Man City. It's not going to be an easy game for Man City. You all know how Leeds can be. They score goals for fun. Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. Fulham will host Tottenham, unstable Tottenham Hotspur, and of course Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. Let's talk about Benjamin Sesko under Michael Carrick. What are your thoughts on Benjamin Sesko? He has already been coming from the bench, and of course he delivers week in, week out.
Well, one thing about Benjamin Sesko is that he has improved. When he got to the Premier League at first, he was a bit shaky because of the pace of the Premier League, the power and the aggression in the league. They don't give you room to, they don't give you room to breathe at all, especially as a striker.
This is not Bundesliga.
It's not Bundesliga where you can have the ball, then you turn, just like Odegaard. You want to turn and start moving left and right. The Premier League doesn't give you, they don't accord you that kind of space.
There's no room for that.
So I think he has learned
in the English Premier League.
So I think he has learned. I saw a podcast where Babatov said he's been working with him. With Benjamin Sesko in the background. So I think he has learned one or two from Dimitar Berbatov, a former United and Tottenham Hotspur striker there. So I think that is what has really been helping him. If you look at his goals, he doesn't waste time.
Yes,
he gets the ball, he shoots. One or two touches and he scores. You understand? That is what you need, actually. That is what Haaland does every season. You don't need to, start passing or moving around like Højlund used to do, last season or 2 seasons ago. You just need to get take your chances and score the goals. So I think that is really what has been happening with Sesko. And for him not starting at United because Carrick prefers Mbeumo, it is because of mobility. Carrick right now is playing without proper wingers. He doesn't have the luxury of wingers. The only winger United have currently is Ahmad, and Ahmad seems not to be on form. Ahmad is too slow, too sluggish, and too indirect. He wants to cut into the midfield, he wants to pass back. I'm really not happy with Ahmad currently because I know what he can do. So because of that, I think.
All right, Dami, what? Are you still with us? It seems the network is not cooperating. Dami, what?
I can hear you. Hear you. I'm with you.
All right, go ahead.
So I said, so the reason why he's not been starting Sesko is because Sesko, Mbeumo gives him more mobility up front. With Sesko, you want to be more direct. You want to be more, you have a focal point up front. You understand? That's with Benjamin Chesko. But with Mbeumo, you don't really have a focal point. The defenders don't really know who to mark. You know, you see Cunha. Cunha doesn't really play on his wing. You know, he doesn't really play on that wing. He's everywhere. You see Ahmad, yeah. You see Mbeumo also everywhere. You see Bruno Fernandes. So it's going to be hard to mark or hold one player. But with Chesko, he's very direct and very strong. But for me, I think Chesko needs to start, starting games for Manchester United because of how direct he is currently. He's in form. You understand? So there are some games that you don't need to start, playing three wingers or whatever.
Up front.
You just need to go direct for it. Look at the game against West Ham. If Chesko had started that game against West Ham, United would have won because West Ham were forming low blocks and hitting United on a counter, which was giving United lots of problems. So I think Crystal Palace might want to do something like that, even though Crystal Palace don't really pack the bus. They will want to come at you. But when you have someone that is, that is tall, strong, and very direct, in that place, you have a focal point, then you know that I have someone that can give the ball up front and you can trust him to get the goals for you. So I think Chesko should be starting, maybe ahead of Ahmad. Ahmad should start from the bench. Mbeumo should start on that right wing. And a victory might be possible for United.
Right, let's see how it goes. United are in scintillating form ever since Michael Carrick took charge.
Unbeaten in 2026. The only unbeaten team in the Premier League.
All right. All right, away from English Premier League, let's move straight to Spain, Italy, Germany, and of course, France. Barcelona host high-flying Villarreal on Saturday, aiming to tighten their grip on pole position in La Liga amid concerns about the form of strikers Robert Lewandowski and, of course, Ferran Torres. They are struggling to get goals. Lewandowski, it is understandable. We all know he's getting old. He's not the Lewandowski that we used to know, 5, 4, 6, 7 years ago. But now age is not on his side. But Ferran Torres has always been on and off. And now if you struggle to get goals, you don't know how Barcelona can concede. And of course, they'll be playing against Villarreal that scores almost every time they play football. Whether they lose or win, they will score goals. That's Villarreal for you this season. And of course, Barcelona are on top of the log table. Real Madrid are trailing them with just 1 point. Just 1 point between Barca and, of course, Madrid. Now they'll be playing at home against Villarreal. Dami Welts, what are your thoughts? Barca, Villarreal.
Well, it's every game that Barca will be playing to the end of the season. They are very important games. Same goes for Real Madrid. They are games that they really need to win. And against Villarreal, it's not going to come easy. I mean, this is a side that is sitting at the top 4, currently third on the log. Villarreal might currently not be doing so well, in their form, but against a top side like Barcelona, you expect them to, still come out and play football. So I expect a tough game from Villarreal against Barcelona this weekend. I mean, one problem that has been facing Barcelona has always been their defense line. It has always been their high line, like people, usually call it. And this might also affect them in the sense that Villarreal might study that. They have a sensational player there called Papigue, who has been doing well. Don't forget they have the former Arsenal player to Nicolas Pepe there, who can be very direct and fast as well. So they're going to cause Barcelona some problems. But I still expect Barcelona to come top because of their strong players. You see, if Barcelona is going to lose, Barcelona will lose scandalously in this kind of game. You might see a 3-1, 4-1 loss to Barcelona. But if they're going to win, then they have the class. Rafinha is back, Lamine Yamal is there, Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, they have the players to actually prosecute this one, and I still want to give it to Barcelona with a big but. If Villarreal if they do their job, like if they study that team very well, they can get a draw or even a victory against Barcelona.
All right, let's take a look at other fixtures. Levante we host Alaves, Rayo Vallecano versus Atletico Bilbao, Barca versus Villarreal, Mallorca we host Sociedad, Oviedo versus Ademola Lookman, Atletico Madrid. We expect Ademola Lookman to score or get assists in this one. Elche we host Espanyol, Valencia versus Osasuna, Betis versus Sevilla, Girona we host Celta Vigo. And of course, in Italy, we'll be seeing Parma versus Cagliari, Como versus Lecce, Verona versus Napoli, Inter Milan out of the Champions League. And of course, is it done and dusted in Italy? Dami Welts.
Are you talking about the champion? Okay. Oh, you're talking about the league.
Yes, of course. Is it done and dusted?
10 points.
They're out of the Champions
point
League.
Lead for Inter Milan.
Yes, of course.
10 point lead for Inter Milan. I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I said, is it done and dusted in Italy? I mean, talking about the Scudetto.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I said it's a 10-point lead for Inter Milan over AC Milan. I mean, AC Milan were top in this league at some point, but unfortunately, they started losing games. They lost to Parma last time, and they are just dropping points here and there. So it's really been inconsistencies right there in the Serie A for the top teams. But Inter Milan seems to have found some consistency in them, and they are going all the way for the league title. If you look at how many games that are remaining in 38 matches, I think about 12 games are remaining in the season, and I really don't. I don't know. It's still open in a way mathematically, but can AC Milan really push? Can they really give the fight? Can they really go ahead and push Inter Milan to the edge? If they can, I mean, to the end of the season, maybe we'll see something on the last day of the season. But as it stands, Inter Milan are cruising, and I really don't see anybody stopping them.
Of course, you'll be seeing Verona versus Napoli, Inter Milan versus Genoa, Cremonese will host Milan, Sassuolo versus Atalanta, Torino versus Lazio, and of course, Roma versus almighty Juventus. In Germany, we have Augsburg versus Cologne, Leverkusen will host Mainz, Mönchengladbach versus Union Berlin, Werder Bremen versus EDM, Hoffenheim versus St. Pauli, Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. Another big game in Germany. It's a must-watch game for every one of us. Of course, the Stuttgart will host Wolfsburg, Frankfurt versus Freiburg, Hamburg versus Leipzig. And in France, French Ligue 1, we have Strasbourg versus Lens, Rennes versus Toulouse, Monaco versus Angers, Le Havre versus Paris Saint-Germain, Paris FC versus OGC Nice, Lorient versus Auxerre, Lille versus Nantes, Metz versus Brest, and Marseille versus Olympique Lyon. That is how much we can take on Sports on Enterprise TV 7. If you are here to follow us across all social media, to do that. We are at Enterprise TV 7 across all social media platforms. Visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Dami Wells has been on the show today. Dami Wells.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful one. Thank you very much for having me on the show this afternoon.
And of course, don't forget to watch Roma versus Juventus. My name remains John Olasukomi. See you next time.